Hello, and good evening, everyone. I am today joined by Holofrog, and we have played the new missions of the expansion called Reckoning, I think. Holo, do you know?
Yeah, it's Reckoning. Hello, everyone.
So we do have a total of 2 new elite PvE queues, and we are taking on in this video right now the first one called Gravity Kills, I think. This is the recording of elite difficulty, and we suggest that you bring like 2 players or more. 1 player is technically possible, however, you need a lot of DPS to make it actually through, and that just seems a little too straining.
Yeah, with 2 people, it's actually quite good doable.
So when you first warp into the mission, you get this contact dialogue counting down the mission starting in like 1 minute with some explanation on what this is about. You then have to proceed to the first group of enemies, kill those off to unlock the second stage, at which point you will have to destroy the 3 stations located in front of that gravity thing, black hole. The mission itself has a very high resemblance of the Tarok Norm mission.
I think it's called Counterpoint.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Counterpoint mission, where you had to like transport the boarding parties. Now this time they're called Hawking particles. The principle is the same. You fly there, you interact with them, you bring them back to the allied target, which in this case is a ship and not a station, and then you interact again. Worth mentioning is that the Hawking particles spawn in front of the enemy station and then get dragged towards the black hole. So it's good to pick those up in the front, because it reduces your flight distance, and also because they then spawn again rather soon. So you usually only have to go the short distance.
And that's basically the part which you go from Counterpoint. Basically a transport mission.
So the general concept is the same. You don't want to use any weapons because the cycle starting will block the transport of the particle, as you can see indicated by the little indicator above your ship, which is basically the progress bar for the transport in progress. And if you then start firing, it will stop your progress and you will have to start over again.
But that should be already known from other missions in the game.
Yeah, though in this specific case you don't get interrupted by getting attacked or taking damage. It's really just about you using abilities.
Exactly. On other missions, it's usually that you get interrupted if you get attacked.
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see in the video, we are almost done with the first transport set. It's indicated by this Hawking particle collected count. Once you have collected all the required particles and brought them back to your allied ship, the allied ship uses some sort of weapon to disable the shields around the station, which then lets you attack the 3 gravitic anchors. And once you have destroyed those, I mean, it's really not that difficult. The only troublesome part is that you get into line of sight issues if you are on like the same height as the station is. So I recommend going higher.
And you're getting slightly moved towards the black hole.
Yeah, that is a general theme for this mission. Yep. Everything gets...
But at that part you can really notice it. At least I noticed it. There are more than while collecting the particles.
Yeah, the closer you get to the black hole, I think the faster you get pulled towards it.
It would be interesting to know what happens if you reach the black hole.
I have once seen that. First you get a contact dialogue. Your entire screen gets a special effect going, and then you have a contact dialogue which says warp out of the black hole, which transports you back to the original spawn point of the mission. Or I think if you just wait long enough, you collide into the black hole and you die, which technically does the same thing. Since you get like the cutscenes for the warp out and warp in animation, if you try to warp out, you don't really save that much time. So you have to repeat this stage now 3 times over. There are 3 stations, all 3 have to be destroyed. You have to collect, I think, about 10 of those Hawking particles each time. So it is somewhat good to use movement increasing effects such as emergency power to engines, evasive maneuvers, the duty officer that then recharges your evasive maneuvers when you use emergency power to engines, auxiliary to dampeners.
I also had attack pattern Omega on the scimitar for that one.
And since I'm on the pilot ship, you have the pilot maneuvers as well as the pilot team. So you just have to at this point accept that the game can't really handle unlimited speed. So the interactions all get a little annoying. Well, the game does not seem to be made for speeds of like 400. So at this point we are almost done with stage number 2 of this, or like the second station. The allied ship does get attacked, and one of the mission objectives is that it does not die. However, if you do this quickly and efficiently with just one player, you can actually manage so the ship doesn't die to do it in that time frame. If you do it with more players, like 2 to 5, then it really isn't an issue. Like, you can technically ignore the allied ship, just collect the particles, kill the gravitic anchors, and progress to the next stage. There does not seem to be any need to guard the allied ship. I'm using the pilot specialization, which gives me the absorption, or like the damage immunity if I get attacked from all the sides, and some turn speed and stuff. I mean, you don't really need it, but it's sort of nice to have it. The entire mission has a 15-minute timer. And within that time frame, you have to complete all the stages. You need to kill the first group, the 3 stations, and a final group of a dreadnought.
And on the bright side, the timeline is not changing every time.
That is true. And you don't get a cutscene between the different destroyed stations.
Yeah, that makes it less annoying.
Anything else worth mentioning about this stage?
I think not really.
There might be one thing. If you die during this stage and you're the player that has the aggro of all the enemies, then because there's like one group near the station that will attack the players that try to collect, and there's one group which is technically immune to all aggro mechanics and will just try to kill your allied ship. So if you as a player die, those ships that you had aggroed will then go for your allied ship. That is, I think, the only reasonable scenario in which your allied ship will die if the player dies first, because then more ships will attack it. You can use the sensor interference platform, the shield generator, if it really gets out of control. But like with more than 2 players, or more than 1 player, I should say, it's really difficult.
At that point, you can see in video, I was fighting a bit for fun, the ships attacking the allied ship. And you can't draw the aggro from the allied ship away. It always has the...
Yeah. They are just immune to all aggro things. Like, you can't push them out.
Warp Shadows don't draw aggro.
Yeah, they hard to build it to work like this, I think. So technically we did this, like, I had already tried it a few times to see what the mission was like, and for Holo this one was the first attempt. So I was talking him through on what the idea of the mission was.
Yeah, I was actually like, okay, what to do?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really do this to win it. We just said that we should like try it out and see how it goes. So we are better prepared for next attempt. But then again, we didn't really need a next attempt.
Because it worked on the first one with 2 people.
Okay, so we are almost done with the third station now. The station has to actually crash into the black hole in order for the mission progress to count. As you can see here, we're trying to get a little aggro of our allied ship, but the group that focuses on it will despawn once the mission stage is complete. Now we are looking for the dreadnought because we can't really find it. The leftover enemies aren't doing anything, so we can just ignore them. Go over to the dreadnought group. Once we can find it, where is it? Okay, I think we have found it. Wait, have we found it? No, that's the allied ship. Where's the enemy? Okay, there's Wobson. And so I for this mission have saved 2 loadouts, one for the movement stage and one for the fighting stage. You don't really have to do this. That's just if you want to use like the pilot team and stuff. And this final stage really only comprises of shooting the enemy until he is dead. The big red things on the screen are technically the only source of a good GDF because the enemies don't seem to deal too much damage. So you can stand in those and try to get a GDF, but you don't want to stand in them for too long because they can actually kill you.
And the last stage is really only about killing the dreadnought group, and then you're done.
Yeah, so we can ignore the leftover ships from the third station. And these guys, I mean, it's a pretty large group, so cannons aren't too bad for this mission. It's always like 3 or more targets. If you think about the stations, they have 3 gravitic anchors. Scatter volley attacks 3 targets, and this final group also has a lot of ships to it. But like realistically, you just need a decent amount of DPS to make it in the overall time frame of 15 minutes.
Yeah, as you can see, I used for this mission beams in the scimitar because I didn't know cannons might have been better.
Well, on the scimitar, the movement problems
Yeah, I know.
with cannons might also.
But I mean, you can even manage it.
Yes.
It's possible.
The Dreadnought now finally at 40%. They have like pretty good health and resistances, so it takes a long time to kill it. With 2 players, it's not a real problem if you have like a big enough group.
With 5 players, that should be ridiculously easy.
Yeah. And this is already the elite difficulty, so yeah. For how long didn't we play this game?
I have no idea.
Like half a year, I think.
Yeah, I think we didn't play since last year's May.
Yeah, and then on the first attempt of this mission, we actually beat it on elite difficulty. It's so funny.
So funny they died.
So that is it for the mission Gravity Kills.
And currently it seems like you're only getting fleet marks on the preview server Tribble.
Yes, this is...
I mean, I think when it goes live, you will get the marks for the 10th reputation system.
Oh, is it the 10th?
I think it's the 10th.
Yeah. I mean, those
I'm
characters
not really sure, but I think so.
Yeah, the characters that we used were just freshly copied over, so they don't even have the 9th reputation on them, I think. Because, at least I don't.
I have that as well.
So
I think the last one I did on my character was the Terran reputation, and it's quite easy in my opinion.
Yeah. Alright, see you guys next time. Thank you.
See you.